Hey everyone, welcome to today's session. It's a Dev2Be episode again with Scott Hanselman, and he's going to be talking about some amazing things, his journey in tech, and our host is going to be Nandini, of course, as usual, and we have Dawood and Sundar here as well. So the episode is going to be great. I hope all of you learn a lot today from today's session. So let us know what you thought of it. Check out Scott Hanselman's podcast as well. The link is in the description. So Sundar, Dawood, Nandini, what do you all think?
So even this. So before you go to the recording, I'll just say that there's a lot of things that we have learned, like during the pre-recording session of Scott's and during the session. So make sure you look out for those tips because Scott says a lot of things that are worth to listen and learn from him. And yes, so just make sure that you listen each and every point of his, because those are some I wouldn't say life changing, but like he says, quotes in such a way that those are like impact that those that can make impact on your lives. So yes.
True that. Well, according to me, the Scott session was a full uh, bloomer, and we just had so much of information we had to process. And I guess I will have to watch the session itself like twice or thrice to get through all those things in our head. And it was a lot of knowledge and things that we could implement in our daily lives to be consistent and to be productive. And I guess everyone should listen to each and everything. It's quite a session, and yeah, you will love it.
Yeah,
The main
I,
man.
I agree. Absolutely. It's the episode was great. It was something that we all looked forward to, and there was just so much to learn in real life. From the workplaces, from what you learn when you are with your colleagues and all this stuff. So Scott actually dealt with it as though he was teaching psychology. So it was great to have discussions with Scott from the previous episode, and this is awesome. So folks, just check out for it.
No. Thank you, Dawood. Thank you, Nandini and Sundar. Hope you all enjoy the session, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
And if you're new student ambassador, then make sure you check the playlist of a beginner's guide to an explorer's guide to being a successful Microsoft Learn ambassador. So make sure you also check that out. Yes, enjoy the session.
Hey everyone, this is Nandini Sharma, and this is another episode of Dev2Be. We have Scott Hanselman here, and he is a programmer, a teacher, a speaker, a blogger, a podcaster, and an author. And there goes a lot of stuff there. And then the tech, he writes about, he podcasts about tech, then health, then traditions. It's so much. It's so much. I cannot put it in words. It's absolutely amazing to have him on a meeting like this and to talk with you, Scott. I'm so excited to have you, and I guess we are going to talk about everything and anything on everything.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Scott, I just starting with the very basic question, a little old school maybe. So a lot of people may not be familiar with you here. So the story of Scott Hanselman. So everyone knows you here, but the story of how you began as a techie and the stuff you do right now is any brief that you want to give to all of us?
Okay, well, I live here in Portland, Oregon, and I work remotely for Microsoft. So while we're all working remotely during these difficult times, I've been remote the whole time. The only difference from remote work versus quarantine work is that I have to wear a mask when I go to the shops. But unfortunately, as a remote worker, nothing has really changed. And my whole team is remote as well. So nothing's changed for them either.
Oh, okay. So I have heard about your vlogs I have read, and then your podcast I have heard, and then you say that consistency is what has mattered all this time of your journey, and how you have worked through things. And I saw that 744 podcasts till now, and then those blogs were like numerous of blogs. So do you want to tell about how you were so consistent all this time, and how did you, sometimes you're passionate about something, but still we cannot be consistent about it. So how did
I think that when I say consistency, I mean like, if you set up a system for yourself for success, you're more likely to succeed, right? So if you are studying for school and, someone says you must study 6 hours a day, morning and night, 7 days a week, that is probably something you could do for 1 week and then you would burn out, right? That's not a success system. You have to look at your life and the number of hours that you are given and decide intentionally, deliberately, what are you going to do with those hours? Oftentimes people find themselves saying, well, I wish I had more hours in the day. But I think that what they really don't do is look at the hours that they were given and really break those hours down. Because I think we waste hours. We waste hours stressing, watching TV, that downtime after dinner that you just like, oh, this day sucked. It's okay to have those times. It's okay to waste time, but it's also helpful if you just you do an audit of all of your time and decide what you want to do with it. So if you do that, you can set up systems for success. For example, if I suggested, Nandini, do you have a blog?
Yeah, I started writing.
Okay, great. So how often do you blog?
It's just 2 for now, because it was
great.
like a week back or so. So
Congratulations, that's awesome. So a success system for you might be once a week or maybe twice a month. So twice a month doesn't sound too hard. I like once a week because you don't let the distance between 2 blog posts go too far. Yeah. But if I told you, if you're interviewing someone for your show and I'm like, Nandini, you must blog every day, that's not going to happen. You're going to do it for like 5 days and you're going to miss one and then you're going to feel bad. And the system that you design is then going to make you feel bad about yourself. So try not to design a system that makes you feel bad about yourself. So I blog Tuesdays and Thursdays. It works. It doesn't stress me out. I miss 1 or 2 occasionally, but then I can go back in time and fix it. It's like if someone says work out. Okay, great. I can work out every single day, twice a day, mornings and night. No, like 3 times a week. So consistency equals success systems.
True that. So we have to be productive and consistent, but then we have to fix our plan according to ourselves, that how we can adjust it to. So
well, actually, let me say something, because you said I thought when you just said productive and consistent, but I thought you said protective, which is also a good word, because you're actually being protective of yourself. So I think this is really great. You've got me a new idea. You want to be productive and protective of your space, of the self-care and taking care of yourself, so that the productivity does not damage you.
Yeah, true that. So it's already an interesting conversation. I'm just processing everything. So what are the myths that you think right now the recruitment industry follows? When we say, like we talked about consistency, and then we have this 100 days of codes, and then we have blogging every day, then we everything just matters in our portfolio nowadays, and we try to make it, and it's good. It's not bad. It's good. But then sometimes, as we talked about, we feel bad about something if we have missed a day or 2, and then we cannot manage to do it. So there have been a few more myths about the recruitments nowadays, that college, this college, or if I'm not good enough, or if I was not able to do this and that person was doing the whole thing till now and he's such a pro and I'm not. So all this has mattered, and somewhere, our processing system has changed with time about, there are people already who have done this and we haven't, and we are just starting. So we might not reach at that point. So do you have anything for those people? Like I have personally faced imposter syndrome, and now it's better. It's far more better after the point that I joined MSP. So what do you want to say about it? Imposter syndrome.
Okay, well, there's a lot to unpack there. So first, in the recruiting space and in the recruiters, for the most part, and I'm making a stereotype here, so a generalization, so forgive me.
Okay.
Often the recruiters are not technical, so they're looking at keywords on your resume so when they are screening you for your job, sometimes the screening can be unfair.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. They're gonna look and they're gonna say, oh, she doesn't have 20 years of JavaScript. Clearly, she can't do the job. Additionally, I worry sometimes that recruiters look for skill buzzwords.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you can find a company that is interested in how you think and not your list of skills, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we joke about how, like, let's say React has been out for 5 years, and then the resume, the recruiter says, I'm looking for people with 9 years of React.
Yeah,
right?
True that.
It's
been a meme
exist,
for a long
right?
time.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
So I don't care if you know React. I'm interested in things like fundamentals of JavaScript, fundamentals of networking. Do you have the base of the pyramid? If you're early in your career and I'm hiring a mechanic, do you mostly understand how to take apart and put together a car? I'm not looking for 10 years on a Volkswagen or a Honda. I just want to know if you have a general understanding of cars. And I, as the employer, I'm going to teach you the little details. So try to avoid buzzwords, because if you get into a job or a recruiter situation and it's clear that they're just looking for a list of comma, C#, comma, SQL, comma, then you don't want to work there,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first thing. And then the imposter syndrome thing, I wrote a blog post, I want to say like 10 or 15 years ago, called I'm a Phony. And I decided that everybody feels like that sometimes. And the most people who feel like that are probably pretty good at their jobs. Because if you walked into your job like, yeah, man, I'm Nandini. Like, I know what's up. Like, I know everything. I got first grades, 97%. Like, no one wants to work with that person, right?
Yeah.
If you acted like a 10x developer, if I was all like, hey, I'm Scott Hanselman, Google me. That's not cool, right? Like,
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you'll make mistakes. Like, literally yesterday, I made a mistake. I blogged this great thing that I discovered, and I was like, oh, look at this hack for Microsoft Edge. So cool. And I blogged it, tweeted it. 10 minutes later, someone's like, that's been built into the product for like a month, and you don't need to do any of that. So I was like, oh, crap. Like, the whole blog post is completely useless now. You know what I mean?
gosh.
Like, I thought that I'd found this cool hack and they built it into the product. And now it's like, yeah, you just right click, and I right click and then there it is. And I'm like, oh. So do I let that crush me and I stop? Yeah, see, your face is what I was doing. It's just like, So do I let that destroy me? Do I let that ruin my blogging for the day? So I just went back. I edited the blog post. I said, edit, update. And I said, hey, a new friend has told me that this has been built in. So these instructions, 6 through 9 are not interesting. Isn't it great that this is built in now? I basically leaned into the mistake, kept the blog post up, and used it as hey, this is a really cool thing that they fixed this thing. I felt bad, but I put a time limit on how long I would feel bad.
Okay.
So, like, if something bad happened, like, feel bad. But can you maybe say, all right, this was stupid. It was a blog post. I'm going to feel bad for 15 minutes. So I decided to feel bad for 15 minutes, and now I'm done. That was a long answer. I'm sorry.
No, that was a long question too. So, yeah, justified. Okay, that's great. It's okay to feel bad and then just put time limit to it. Yeah, that's noted. So, through your blogs and podcast again, I am personally in love with all those podcasts and blogs, because there's a lot of diversity in there. You can never, it's not about a particular topic. It's about health. It's about tech. It's about diversity. It's a lot, and it's lovely. So kudos to that. And so I was just going through them, and then I searched. I thought searched through, and I saw that you are keenly interested in mental health and health issues and how to relate and solve them through tech. So I saw that you, in the beginning of your career, found a solution for diabetes. And so what do you want to put light on, like how you want to put light on that? So how's health and tech you think that can change the world now together?
Well, I mean, I didn't have a solution for diabetes, but when I was 20, I became a type 1 diabetic. And a type 1 diabetic is different than, like, if you have any relatives or grandparents that have diabetes when they're older. This is different. That's usually called type 2 diabetes. It's dietary. It's usually when our aunties and uncles and grandparents get diabetes when they're older. It's usually from eating. I have an insulin pump with a tube, and the tube is plugged into me all the time, and I carry it. It's like an external organ. And then I have some implants in my stomach. You can hear it. That's like a Bluetooth. So I usually have to do the math myself, and there's a community of hackers online that can make this controllable by your phone. So instead of me doing the math, then the software can do it. So you can actually look at my blood sugar on the web. I put my blood sugar in my Git prompt. So I have my branch, and then I have my blood sugar in the prompt at the same time. So it's just like a thing that I like to work on that makes me happy. And there's a great, huge community of open source artificial pancreas people.
Yeah, I read that word, artificial pancreas, and I was very confused about what exactly it meant.
Right.
And
so what it means is your pancreas is an organ inside your body. Mine is outside. So it's a combination of my phone, a bridge, a communications bridge, and an insulin pump with actual medicine inside it. Okay. The phone tells the bridge to tell the pump to deliver the medicine, and this tube is filled with insulin and attached to my stomach.
Oh my God. I am a little sorry about it.
Gross, maybe, I don't know.
I shouldn't have. I'm not sure if it was the right question. I'm sorry.
I think it's a fine question. Here's another thing that I want you to know. So you didn't know any of that, right?
Yeah, I didn't know.
But this is one of the things that's interesting about invisible disabilities and privilege. I didn't need to tell you.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I keep all my equipment and scars hidden, then I'm just like hey, this is a successful guy from Microsoft that we're interviewing, right? But if I share a disability, whether it be this or an artificial leg or a mental illness, these are all things that people have that they can either choose to share or not.
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad at all. Everybody's got something. You just may not be able to see it.
Yeah, true. Okay, I'm a little blown. So, I also wanted to ask about the health issues, like the mental health issues. There's a lot that this batch, the 2020 batch, has faced when it comes to recruitments or things like that. And then the 2021 batch is quite worried about their recruitments or their placements. So how, like, the hiring froze, and then the visas got cancelled. A lot of things that happened. So what do you want to tell them? There might be something. And then a lot of developers face anxiety and depression and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I also heard about self-diagnosis in one of your podcasts. I'm mentioning that again and again. I'm sorry. So what do you want to say about that?
The thing I like, I don't have issues like that, but I try to support people who do by destigmatizing. Okay. Just as the diabetes thing is a thing that I have, and my boss doesn't make me feel bad about it, and my work doesn't make me feel bad about it, we should not let our works or the industry make people with challenges feel bad about themselves, right? Remember before we talked about success systems for productivity.
Yeah.
We should set up a success system at our jobs so that people who are facing particular challenges can feel okay about themselves, can be set up for success in their job. So I've done a number of podcast episodes on destigmatizing mental health. And the most important thing, I think, is burnout. How long have you been in tech?
It's 3 years.
3 years, okay. Do you feel like you're going to burn out? Are you stressed out? How are you feeling?
No, not really stressed out. I'm a little worried about my placement next year. And the skills I know might not be enough. And I might not be the pro in the skills I know itself. So it's a little of a dilemma if I am doing the right thing right now, because I have to put a lot of work in myself. So Yeah, I'm not a pro.
Right,
So
but I think the trick is
it's not stressing me
you're
out,
not
but
supposed to
it's,
be a pro, right? You're
Yeah.
3 years in, right?
Yeah.
So it's a challenge to find out you have a 30 or 40 year career ahead of you. It's a marathon.
Yeah.
Can you pace yourself? Take breaks. Give yourself a little bit of permission to fail sometimes. And can you find companies and people and mentors that will let you fail fast and often, but in a way that doesn't make you feel bad, and that some company can't use your failure against you.
Yeah.
Like, you want to make sure that if you go work for a company or you are doing work with friends in a study group, that if you make a mistake, which everyone does, that they don't go, yeah, this is just like Nandini. She's proven that she makes all these mistakes. Instead, you want them to say, I made that mistake too, and this is what I learned from it. And I love that you made that mistake quickly, and you figured out the answer quickly, and you turned it around. If you and I were debugging some web application, the only reason that I know more is that I've made all those mistakes before, and I know which questions to ask.
Yeah.
And I'll say stuff like, "Oh, well, check the SSL certificate. Oh, is the clock right on the computer?" And like, you'll go, "How did you know that?" I did that like 10 years ago, and it sucked. Like, just remember all your mistakes, and the only difference between you and me is I'm a little ahead of you, and I've made a lot more mistakes.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, you made me feel like a lot more confident about myself.
It will be okay. You're not supposed to know everything, I promise.
Yeah, true that. And coming on to failures, so how do you think that we should handle failures? You know, you just mentioned that failing is not a bad thing, that you learn, that it's just a mistake. So how do you think that we should, more of take failures? Because another day I get, a confirmation letter about that I was not selected for a company or an internship, or I did not get it. So there must be hard times. As I asked, like the 2020 batch must have been facing a little tough time, I guess. So what do you want to say for them?
Well, the part that's hard with all of this advice that you and I are sharing and talking about is it's not going to work for everybody.
Yeah.
That's one. I could be totally wrong in everything that I'm saying. And someone could come back later and say, but you and Nandini said, da-da-da-da-da, right? The hard part about tech is that not everyone is going to succeed right off the bat, like immediately. So what you and I can do as community members is try to make space for as many people as possible and pick them up and encourage them when they make a mistake.
Yeah.
I hope your placement goes well. But if it doesn't, then we'll do it again. We'll pick ourselves up and we'll go and we'll kick butt to the next thing,
Well, we are asking you questions so that we can keep hold up and keep ourselves motivated. So it's okay. It's not about, your advice could not match with everyone. So
definitely don't stop though. I went to a community college. It's like a 2-year college, not an official university. And then I finished my university degree 11 years later.
Okay.
So I started school university in 1992, but I didn't actually graduate until 2003. So even though I've been in tech for 28 years, the first 11 years I was going to school at night.
Okay. Oh, I was a little confused about that thing on your LinkedIn. So now it's quite clear.
Yeah. So I did the first 2 years while working and going at night. So I started working in 1992. I went to school while also doing an internship and working. And then I was working full time, going 9 to 5, and then school 6 to 10. They had night school. And then I took a break for a year or so. And then I started going to school to do my 4-year degree. And that just took 11 years to get all the credits together.
Oh my God, that's a story. That's a lot of
here's the funny thing,
patience.
though. After 11 years, no one cared. No one looked at my resume. The degree was for me at that point, right? Early in your career, you need the degree. When you're in 10 or 20 years, you need it less so. I do think, though, that sometimes being an older man, people will be less likely to ask me for my degree. So there's some privilege there as well.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. So what I just I read about your book on the programmatic tips and concrete tricks for navigation a mixed geek / normal marriage. It's a big.
It's a book I've been working on for years. I really need to finish it. I've only got like 5 chapters written.
Yeah, so this is the book that you have been writing and with your wife. So relationship hacks, that is something that geeks get interested in mostly because they mostly suck at it. I'm sorry about the word.
Well, I think that,
what do you want to say? What is that book going to bring to us?
I've written, if you go to my blog and search for relationship hacks, there's like a few half dozen blog posts. The idea is that and again, these are all generalizations and stereotypes, for lack of a better word, but programmers want to fix things, and humans don't usually compile very well. So, when you're having a relationship problem, programmer types, and this is sometimes gendered, but not usually gendered. Let's say that, you and I are programmers, so our brains are similar. This is the idea. And our relationships, let's say our non-technical partner is not a programmer, and they have a problem, you're going to want to debug.
Yeah.
You're gonna like, okay, well, let's figure this out. And I don't want you to debug, Nandini. I just want you to listen to me. Just let me just talk. And you're like, but talking is not going to solve the problem. Like here, debug, right? And they just want to talk about the problem. So like, chapter 1. Just shut up and listen. They don't want you to solve the problem.
Yeah.
It's super annoying. Like, do you want this thing fixed, or are we just going to talk? Oh, I guess we're talking. Okay. There's a really great...
keeping the patience to just talk and not, whenever there's a problem, there's someone says that you need to fix that. I'm like, okay, let's get down to it. I half listen to sometimes, but I can relate it definitely. It's sometimes.
There's a really great video you should link to that's called "It's Not About the Nail." It's a commercial, and this couple is talking, and the woman is like, "I've got this pounding headache. It's like right here in my face," and then there's a nail sticking out of her forehead. It's about this long. And the guy, the other person is saying, it could be that you have a nail in your forehead. And she says, it's not about the nail. You always do this. You need to listen to me. And so she's like, my sweaters, my jumpers are always snagging when I put them on my head. And he's like, we could take that nail out. And she's like, you need to listen and let me talk. So that is very much the programmer relationship. We want to debug those problems, and it's very much not gender specific. Actually, I wonder what it must be like to be in a relationship with 2 programmers. Do they pair program and debug their lives? I don't know.
Oh my god, that was funny. Pair program. Okay. Much of a, I am seriously waiting for the book to be out. I want that book soon.
Well, I'll send you the early chapters, but I really just need to sit down and take a vacation and fix it and finish it.
Yeah, because the way that you're telling things right now, they are so interesting, and I love it. I just need to read that book soon. So yeah, whenever it's out, I'm gonna look for it super soon. So yeah, we have had a little bit of a talk now, and how do you want to talk about the use of technology now and the cool stuff that you want to tell us about? It's all about you. Yeah, you want to tell about anything that you want to tell.
I think in closing, I would say that there is more stuff to know than is possible for you to know. So as you and our friends who are watching start your careers, you're going to have to let some stuff go. You can't know Python and Java and C# and machine learning and robots and like, do you want to specialize or do you want to be a generalist? Those are going to be really hard decisions to make. Try to pick technologies that are generalized, but remember that you can't know everything. Like, I'm not an
Yeah.
expert on AI. I have a familiarity with it. I'm comfortable with the concepts.
Yeah.
But a data scientist isn't my job. When I came up and when I learned and when I did my degree, the amount of technology that existed was less than there is today.
Okay.
So you're going to get analysis paralysis. You're going to get
we talked
so
about
much.
that.
It's like I can't absorb. There's so much stuff I can know. Pick small stuff, small steps. Remember that as you're staring at an empty page, wondering what you're going to type, typing anything is better than typing nothing.
Yeah.
Even if it's code you're going to delete and refactor later. Like, always forward motion, a little tiny step at a time. That's my encouragement to you and your friends.
Wow. And a question again. So, how was your experience at Dev2Be? This is like a personal question too, but you just before like the call was on, so you just said that this is my first call with most college students, right?
I just
You
thought
said
it was.
something
I
like
just think
that.
it's funny. You're all so organized, and you have like all this technology to make the show like this available, and it looks so professional with the frames and the grid. I think you're all great and very organized. I was not putting on a TV show when I was your age, so I think it's amazing.
Oh wow, that's great. Yeah, I mean, the from the beginning when I started texting you about if we could have a podcast, if we could have a session together, about we could talk things out, and then today when I'm actually doing it, I was so excited. I'm still so excited. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to ask him, what we are going to talk, but I need to talk to this guy because this guy has a cool office. He does cool podcasts, and I learned so much from his blogs. I could, I ran through your website right after the bill session, and then I just saw a lot of stuff there, and I just wanted to have a conversation with you about anything. I just wanted to know. We all have been, Scott Hanselman has been, our first, the star for us for now, because we have not had a conversation ever with you, the college students, as you say. So we wanted this to happen. So
well, I appreciate that. One thing I do want to gently challenge you on, though, the idea of a star programmer is silly.
True.
I think you could use terms like super old programmer or, venerable programmer who's been around for a long time. The only difference between me and you is that I'm you in the future. You're talking to Nandini, who's come back from the future, and I'm telling you about your cool office that you're going to have and all the great stuff that you're going to build. Just stick in tech and you'll have all these things and more.
Yeah, we personally, I guess at our age, everyone is like that. So we personally think to rush things off. And then my dad told me that you are rushing things off. You just have to stop and do what you're doing the best way you can. So you don't have to, get suppressed by the failures and all. And I could, conclude that from your talk as well. So it's awesome to have this conversation with you. I'm so thankful to have you here. And yeah, so guys, wrapping this up, we had an awesome conversation, and I am so glad that we had this conversation. I'm so glad that Scott Hanselman is here. I'm really thankful to him. And yeah, looking up for the reviews and comments of yours. And bye-bye. Wait for the next section.